Welcome back, everyone. We're lucky enough to have Bill McPherson back from Graphite Design, VP of Sales, and of always, Mark Timms, CEO and founder of Cool Clubs. Thanks a lot for coming in. This time we want to dive into your product a little more. I know this year's a good year for you. You're releasing a new product, which everyone always gets excited about with Graphite Design. Tell us about it, tell us its name and how it works.
You bet. So every year we launch a new wood product into our line. Coming in 2023 would be our brand new Tour AD CQ, CQ standing for Conquest. CQ is designed as a replacement to our older MJ model. MJ was a softer tip shaft that promoted higher launch and a little more spin into the ball flight.
Great fairway shaft, actually. We use a ton of those for fairways.
Yes.
I had that in a Titleist for a long time. It was killer. Yeah.
MJ and DJ for that matter, going back even
DJ
further.
as well,
Two good softer tip fairway profiles, for instance. CQ will be launched, as I said, in January of 2023. It has a new material technology that's called 2G NAMD. So its premise is more of a vibration dampening type application. It's located in the handle of the shaft to help reduce that harsh feeling that can sometimes come from off-center hits and whatnot. It's actually utilized by a very popular tennis racket manufacturer, and they actually found a 30% reduction of vibration dampening in the application of the material. So I think it'll help produce even a better feeling product with this material technology. As I mentioned, it's designed to promote higher ball flight, a little bit more spin into to the line, complementing, for instance, DI and IZ, which are higher launching shafts but lower spinning.
Yep.
CQ will be offered in weights of 45, 55, 65, 75, and even 85 grams.
Ooh.
Right.
Wow.
That's interesting, an 80 gram high launcher kind of thing. And it still keeps that high launch characteristic even when the weight jumps up?
It's going to be a little bit lower in launch than the 50 and 60, relative to the weight.
Yeah.
We do offer it in 80 gram range, yes.
Cool. I don't know if Jared's ready to bring up the graphics here, but we can see the CQ here at the top of the page.
Right.
And I think this is a really cool way to, I guess, look at EI or profile, and really simple, and it's directly relative to all of your products.
Right. So you can see kind of down at the bottom our DI, most popular model. Looking at it from a stiffness standpoint, 1 being soft, 5 being very stiff. The DI model has a rating of medium or 2 in the butt section, a 2 in the midsection, and a 4 in the tip. So you jump up and compare how the CQ looks. You can see it's stiffer in the hands and midsection, but much softer in the tip.
Yeah, I don't want to pigeonhole this into a fairway shaft only, because all these drivers are kind of getting lower and lower spin.
Yeah.
Right.
So some stuff that gets in the air and adds a little bit is not necessarily a bad thing.
And again, that's what we are trying to do, is give the fitters product that's going to perform to match up with what that particular player needs. So CQ can add some spin into the ball flight with the softer tip. You can kind of look at UB, more of a modernized DI, half a click stiffer than the DI. And then, of course, HD, more of a one-piece bend profile from butt to tip. And then our XC, one of the lower launching shafts we currently offer, soft in the butt section, but stiff in the mid and tip.
I actually really, like Mark said earlier, a lot of your product, like you said, subtle differences. I think the XC stands out for me as a real different feel, and it's a real low launching golf shaft. It feels that way, compared to everything else.
That's what it's designed to do.
We've definitely put some stronger players in that thing.
Right, you see it in these numbers, right? You see the drastic differential between the butt section, between it and any other, and then how that flows through down to the tip. It's a much stiffer profile. This is a fun game for everyone. I mean, I know you've always have a 2-letter name for each one of them. So let's run through this page here, because I know some of them, but I don't know all of them.
No, I don't know all of them either.
CQ stands for Conquest, the conquest to gain greater distance and accuracy. Tour AD, the AD standing for accuracy and distance, the moniker of our brand, Tour AD.
Yep.
UB, up and beyond. HD, hyper drives.
Okay.
XC, extra carry.
Okay.
And DI, deep impact.
Deep impact. I knew that one. And then
DI was the first one we named as such, where the acronym became something, and I like DI for deep impact.
Yeah, I like all of it. I mean, and BB was was it the Blue Bullet?
Blue Bullet.
Yeah.
And then IZ, into the zone.
Into the zone.
Right?
Okay. Well, let's flip
I didn't
down.
know all of those, by the way.
It's good to know. I kind of enjoy that.
It's fun.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's the IZ. You can see IZ is firm.
That's been a super popular shaft for you, right? That's probably your number two
number
shaft
two.
under DI.
Number two, right. kind of firm butt section, same midsection as DI, but a slightly softer tip, but it uses T1100G, and that's a good example of T1100G and what it changes from a profile standpoint.
And this is a different one. This is a Fairway wood specific.
Right. So our F series Fairway specific shaft, designed as you can see with a soft tip to help get the ball up in the air, high launch, mid spin. I would say complements all of the Tour AD shafts from a standpoint of its bend profile is pretty standard for a Fairway wood.
It's a little less expensive too, which makes sense.
Is.
I mean, we tell customers all the time, if you're going to spend the most money, spend that on your driver because you're going to hit the most, right? You hit it 14 times around. You might hit a Fairway wood twice, maybe a 5-wood once or something. So you still get some super performance, obviously, but it's not quite the expense.
Not quite as expensive, and it's got the same great feel as all the other Tour AD models.
And what I love about Graphite Design from a club fitting perspective is because it is such subtle differences. I think it's going to be hard for someone just to say, hey, I want to order this online. Let me get one of these. Because the nuances between them are so fine, you really want an expert fitter with you, guiding you through that process to why you would pick X over Y, why the IZ over the DI or vice versa.
Yeah, if you're not taking advantage of going through a fitting, you're really not doing yourself any good. The advent of launch monitors, the adjustable heads, obviously the bend profiles we offer all come together at a Cool Clubs location, go through the fitting, and get dialed in. For the best performance, absolutely.
And I think your brand sells that itself. You go to the Pro Choice. Give me that URL.
ProsChoiceGolfShafts.com.
So you go there, and you're not going there to purchase a golf shaft. You're going there to learn about the product.
Right. Yep. That's our idea with the website is all education. You can kind of go into that fitting knowing, okay, yeah, I know I'm looking for higher launch. So I probably want to try the DI or IZ, or maybe you're looking for more of a one-piece feeling shaft, HD. You want something stiff and low launch, XC. So you've got a little bit of education. You can go in and go through the fitting, but let the fitter know you want to try those shafts if that's something that interests you. And you've got a head start.
Exactly right. So that's a great resource. I encourage anyone to go there, learn about these products, see these diagrams if you can, and ask your fitter. Do you have these products? What am I going to feel? And exactly like any other product is experience it, hit it, because like Mark said earlier, different heads will have different characteristics that require different shafts.
Right.
And when they're all made with premium materials, you know that none of them are going to be bad. It's just what suits you and the driver head that you're trying to make it work with, or Fairway wood.
And I will tell you, the descriptions are pretty close because we run everything through our S3 machine that gives us obviously 100,000 pieces of data per shaft we put in, but it really lines up kind of with what we're seeing and your information is.
Good.
It's just much simpler and easier to understand,
Yeah, this is much simpler and easier to understand. And again, hopefully it helps the consumer kind of guide them down the path of understanding what our product offers. And then, again, going through the fitting is kind of the end game of getting dialed in for the maximum performance out of the golf club you're trying to improve on.
And just something else that came to me is I think Graphite Design's one of the best at this is mix and match. There is no reason that just because you're a DI and a driver, would you be a DI and a Fairway wood. I think because of the subtle differences in design, sometimes, we touched on that with DJ and MJ, and maybe this CQ is going to be a good example of that. You might play a version in the driver and then flip to a different version in the Fairway
wood. I would say that's super common in our fittings, right? So it's very rare we end up using the same shaft in a driver and a Fairway wood. It's not impossible. It doesn't never happen, but they're two different clubs and you need different engines, a shaft to drive them, so to speak.
And we did discuss this in more of a tech talk with another company, but the requirements of torque possibly needing to be increased in a Fairway wood over a driver means that you might need to flip to a different product to achieve that.
Right.
So, Graphite Design's got pretty much every option covered there from low launch to high launch and spins all over the place. So.
And we do have hybrid shaft offerings as well as irons.
They do really well with hybrid shafts. I've seen Jordan Spieth playing those for years, and he was really hot, and you could see him. And,
well, we didn't touch on this here, but I play the IZ95X in my hybrid. I love it. I've had the DI over time in driving irons. I feel like the DI helped me pop it a little more in a driving iron, and the IZ for some reason feels much more stout, and I like that. I like that feeling in the hybrid. So
great.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming in. I'm sure we'll see you again next year when we drop the new.
If not sooner.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I won't be a stranger. But thanks for having me in today and taking the opportunity to talk a little bit with your consumers. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thanks very much for showing us how the website works and what you're kind of looking at. So
yeah,
it's a good educational tool.
Great.
Great.
See you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Cheers.